During a live SpaceX presentation announcing humanity's journey to Mars, tech billionaire Elon Musk suddenly stopped mid-sentence. His face went pale with terror as he stared at something in the sky no one else could see. The signal. "It's not what we thought," he whispered into the microphone. "They're not coming to help us. They're coming to—" Then he collapsed. Those final words, broadcast to millions around the world, sparked a global mystery that would uncover humanity's greatest secret. We are not alone. And what's coming for Earth in 17 days will determine whether our species survives or joins the countless civilizations that have already fallen. The countdown had begun. The truth was about to emerge, and Elon's collapse was just the beginning of the most important story in human history. The bright Texas sun beat down on the SpaceX Starbase facility as thousands of people filled the outdoor amphitheater. Engineers in blue jumpsuits sat next to reporters with cameras. Investors in expensive suits checked their phones. Children held handmade signs that read, "Mars or bust." Everyone was here for one reason. Elon Musk was about to announce the final timeline for humanity's journey to Mars. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the side of the stage, her medical bag ready as always. As SpaceX's chief medical officer, she went everywhere Elon went. Today felt different, though. He had been acting strange all week. Tired. Worried. Like he was carrying a secret too heavy to hold. "Ladies and gentlemen," the announcer's voice boomed across the crowd. "Please welcome the founder of SpaceX, Elon Musk." The crowd erupted in cheers. Elon walked onto the stage wearing his usual black t-shirt and jeans. He smiled and waved, but Sarah noticed his hands were shaking slightly. She had never seen him nervous before a speech. "Thank you. Thank you," Elon said into the microphone. His voice carried across the silent crowd. "Today marks a turning point for our species. Today, we announce that the first human colony ship will launch to Mars in 18 months. The crowd went wild. People jumped from their seats. Cameras flashed everywhere. This was the moment everyone had been waiting for. Elon continued, his voice growing stronger. "We have overcome every challenge. Our starship can carry 100 people safely to Mars. Our life support systems can keep them alive for the 9-month journey. Our landing systems can put them down safely on the red planet." Sarah watched from the wings. Something was wrong. Elon kept looking up at the sky as if he was expecting something. His left eye was twitching, a sign she knew meant he was under extreme stress. "But Mars is just the beginning," Elon said, his voice rising with excitement. "This is about making humanity a multiplanetary species. This is about ensuring our survival among the stars. This is about—" He stopped mid-sentence. The crowd waited, thinking he was pausing for effect. But Sarah saw his face go completely white. His eyes widened in terror as he stared at something in the sky that no one else could see. "The signal," Elon whispered into the microphone. His voice was barely audible, but the speakers carried it to every corner of the amphitheater. "It's not what we thought." People in the front rows leaned forward. What signal? What was he talking about? Elon gripped the podium with both hands. His knuckles turned white. Sweat poured down his face despite the cooling system on stage. "They're not coming to help us," he said, his voice growing louder and more desperate. "They're not explorers. They're not scientists. They're coming to—" His body went rigid. His eyes rolled back. Elon Musk, the man who had revolutionized cars, space travel, and the internet, collapsed on stage in front of thousands of people. Sarah was moving before he hit the ground. She sprinted across the stage as Elon's body convulsed. Security guards rushed from all directions, their radios crackling with urgent messages. "Clear the stage!" Sarah shouted as she dropped to her knees beside Elon. She checked his pulse, weak but steady. His breathing was shallow. His skin was cold and clammy. The crowd had gone from cheering to complete silence in seconds. Then, the screaming started. "Someone! Call 911! Is he having a heart attack? What did he mean about they?" Sarah pressed her fingers to Elon's neck, checking for a pulse again. His heart was beating too fast, like he had been running a marathon. But this wasn't a heart attack. She had seen those before. This was something else entirely. "Elon, can you hear me?" she whispered. His eyes fluttered open for just a moment. He grabbed her wrist with surprising strength. "The countdown," he gasped. 17 days. Tell Marcus. Tell him about the frequencies. The quantum—" His eyes closed again, and his hand went limp. Paramedics arrived with a stretcher. They loaded Elon onto it while Sarah rattled off his vital signs. The crowd parted like the Red Sea as they carried him toward the waiting ambulance. But the damage was already done. Every phone in the amphitheater had been recording. Within minutes, videos of Elon's collapse were spreading across social media. The mysterious words he had spoken, "They're not coming to help us," became the top trending topic on Twitter. News anchors interrupted regular programming around the world. Breaking news: Elon Musk has collapsed during a live presentation at SpaceX headquarters in Texas. The tech billionaire's final words before losing consciousness have sparked wild speculation online. What did he mean when he said, "They're coming"? And who is they? In the chaos, no one noticed the small device clipped to Elon's shirt. A device that looked like a normal microphone but was actually something much more advanced. It had been recording not just his voice, but his brain waves, his neural patterns, and something else entirely. Something that had been beaming into his enhanced mind from deep space. Sarah rode in the ambulance, holding Elon's hand as the sirens wailed. She had been his doctor for 3 years. She knew about his experimental brain implant, the Neuralink device he had secretly tested on himself. She knew it was supposed to help him think faster, process information better. But what if it was doing more than that? What if it was receiving information from somewhere else? As the ambulance raced toward Austin General Hospital, Sarah noticed something that made her blood run cold. The small neural monitoring device on her medical tablet was showing impossible readings from Elon's brain. His unconscious mind was still processing information, complex mathematical equations, star charts, and something that looked like countdown sequences. 17 days, just like he had whispered. Countdown to what? Outside the ambulance windows, the Texas sky looked normal, blue and clear with white, puffy clouds. But Sarah found herself looking up anyway, wondering what Elon had seen that had terrified him so much. What was coming in 17 days? And why did she have the horrible feeling that Elon's collapse wasn't a medical emergency at all, but humanity's first warning of something far, far worse? The ambulance pulled into the hospital emergency bay. As they wheeled Elon through the automatic doors, Sarah made a decision that would change everything. She was going to find out what Elon knew, and she was going to find out who they were, even if it killed her. Dr. Marcus Rodriguez was eating a cold sandwich in his office at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston when his phone buzzed with an emergency alert. He almost ignored it. NASA got emergency alerts about everything from solar flares to space junk. But this one was different. SpaceX CEO Elon Musk collapses during live presentation, speaks of mysterious signal and unknown entities. Marcus dropped his sandwich. His hand shook as he grabbed the TV remote and turned to the news. There was Elon on every channel, collapsing on stage over and over again. The same terrifying words echoing from every speaker. They're not coming to help us. They're coming to... Marcus knew exactly what Elon was talking about. For the past 3 months, Marcus had been tracking something that officially didn't exist. Radio signals from deep space that were too organized to be natural, too complex to be random, and too scary to tell anyone about. Until now, Marcus grabbed his secure phone, the red one that only 3 people in the world had the number to. He dialed the first number on speed dial. Dr. Park speaking. The voice was tired but alert. "Lisa, it's Marcus. Are you watching the news?" "About Elon?" "Yes. Marcus, do you think he knows about the transmissions from Alpha Centauri?" "I'm sure of it." Dr. Lisa Park ran the Arecibo 2 radio telescope facility in Puerto Rico. She was one of the smartest people Marcus had ever met, and one of the few he trusted with humanity's biggest secrets. "Marcus, we need to talk. In person. Tonight." "Agreed. But Lisa, there's something else. Something I haven't told you about the signals." The line went quiet for a long moment. "What haven't you told me?" Lisa's voice was barely a whisper. "They're not just random patterns. I've been running them through our quantum computers for weeks. Lisa, they're instructions. Military instructions." Marcus heard Lisa gasp on the other end of the phone. "How military?" she asked. "Troop movements, landing coordinates, attack patterns." Another long silence. "Marcus, how long have you known this?" 2 weeks. I was going to call you tomorrow. I was going to call the president next week. But then Elon collapsed and said those words. And now, the whole world is asking questions we're not ready to answer. Marcus walked to his office window. Outside, he could see the massive satellite. Dishes that NASA used to talk to astronauts on the International Space Station. Soon, those same dishes might be humanity's only way to hear the enemy coming. "Lisa, there's more. The signals repeat every 12 hours. Exactly. But each time they repeat, they change slightly. Like they're updating information." "Updating what kind of information?" Marcus pulled up the classified files on his computer. Numbers and graphs filled the screen, data that would terrify anyone who understood what it meant. Population counts for major cities, military base locations, nuclear weapon storage sites. Lisa was quiet for so long that Marcus thought the call had dropped. "Lisa? Are you there?" "I'm here." "Marcus, I need to tell you something too. The signals aren't just coming from Alpha Centauri anymore." "What do you mean?" 3 days ago, we started picking up similar transmissions from 6 other star systems. All of them are broadcasting the same basic pattern, but with different target information. Marcus felt his stomach drop. Different targets? Different planets, Marcus. They're not just studying Earth. They're coordinating attacks on multiple worlds at the same time. The sandwich Marcus had been eating suddenly tasted like cardboard. He threw it in the trash and sat down heavily in his chair. How many worlds? At least 12 that we can detect. Maybe more. Marcus did the math in his head. If these aliens were attacking 12 worlds at once, they had to have a massive fleet. Technology far beyond anything humans had ever imagined. "Lisa, we're not just looking at first contact here. We're looking at an invasion." "I know. A coordinated multi-planet invasion by a species with technology centuries ahead of our own. I know. Marcus stood up and started pacing. His mind was racing through possibilities, none of them good. How long do we have? Based on the signal patterns, I estimate 17 days. 17 days. The same number Elon had whispered in the ambulance. Lisa, pack everything, all the data, all the analysis, everything. We're meeting tonight, and then we're going to the government. Marcus, what if they don't believe us? Then we're all dead anyway. Marcus hung up the phone and immediately called his assistant. Janet, I need you to book me a flight to Puerto Rico. Tonight. And Janet, clear my schedule for the next 3 weeks. Dr. Rodriguez, you have the Mars mission briefing tomorrow and the satellite repair meeting on Friday. And cancel everything. Marcus walked back to his window and looked up at the sky. Somewhere out there, beyond the stars he had studied, his whole life, something was coming. Something that had already destroyed who knows how many civilizations. But they had made one mistake. They had let Elon Musk discover their plan. And if Marcus knew anything about Elon, it was that the man never gave up without a fight. Marcus grabbed his laptop bag and headed for the door. As he walked through the halls of NASA, he passed photos of every space mission in American history. Apollo 11 landing on the moon, the Space Shuttle program, the International Space Station, all of humanity's greatest achievements in space exploration. Soon, they might need every bit of that knowledge just to survive. Marcus reached his car and threw his bag in the back seat. As he started the engine, his phone rang again. Unknown number. Dr. Rodriguez? Marcus, this is Dr. Sarah Chen. I'm Elon Musk's personal physician. Marcus's heart started beating faster. How did you get this number? Elon gave it to me. Before, he collapsed. He said if anything happened to him, I should call you immediately and say one word. What word? Lighthouse. Marcus nearly dropped the phone. Project Lighthouse was the code name for the alien signal investigation. Only 5 people in the world knew that name. Dr. Chen, where are you right now? Austin General Hospital. Elon is stable, but he's in a coma. Marcus, his brain activity is off the charts. It's like his mind is processing massive amounts of information even while he's unconscious. I'm on my way to Puerto Rico to meet with Dr. Park. Can you get away from the hospital? Why would I? Because Dr. Chen, your patient wasn't having a medical emergency. He was trying to warn the world about an alien invasion. And if we don't figure out how to stop it in the next 17 days, everyone you've ever cared about is going to die. Jamie Foster stared at her computer screen in disbelief. She had been Tesla's head of cybersecurity for 4 years, and she had never seen anything like this. Someone was trying to break into Tesla's quantum computer systems. Not the regular computers that ran the factory robots or managed car software, the secret quantum computers that only a handful of people knew existed. Jamie sat in her small office at the Tesla Gigafactory in Nevada. Outside her window, she could see the massive factory floor where thousands of workers built electric cars around the clock. But right now, all she could think about was the strange computer activity she had discovered. It had started 3 hours ago, right after she watched Elon collapse on the live stream. Jamie had been in the audience during his announcement, taking notes for Tesla's security team. She had seen the terror in his eyes when he spoke those final words. They're not coming to help us. Now, someone was desperately trying to access files marked Project Lighthouse, files that supposedly didn't exist in Tesla's database. Jamie pulled up the security logs. The access attempts were coming from inside Tesla's network, but the digital fingerprints didn't match any authorized user. Whoever was doing this knew exactly where to look and had incredibly advanced hacking skills, but they didn't know about Jamie's special monitoring software. She typed rapidly, tracing the intrusion back to its source. The trail led to a server room in the basement of the factory, a room that was supposed to be empty. Jamie grabbed her security badge and headed for the elevator. The basement level wasn't on any official Tesla blueprints. Most employees didn't even know it existed, but Jamie had helped design the security systems for the entire facility. The elevator descended past the main factory floor, past the employee parking garage, past the storage areas, down to a level marked B3 that wasn't supposed to be there. The doors opened to reveal a hallway lined with servers. Quantum computers hummed quietly behind reinforced glass walls. The air was cold and smelled like ozone. Jamie walked slowly down the hallway, her footsteps echoing in the silence. At the end of the corridor was a single door marked Authorized Personnel Only. She used her security badge. The door clicked open. Inside was a room that looked like something from a science fiction movie. Massive computer screens covered every wall. Complex equations scrolled across displays. Star charts showed the locations of nearby solar systems. And in the center of it all sat a single computer terminal with an active login session. Someone had been here recently. Jamie approached the terminal carefully. The screen showed a communication program she had never seen before. Message logs filled the display, conversations between someone called EM and another person identified only as the Watchers. She scrolled through the messages, her heart pounding as she read, EM. The signal analysis is complete. They're not explorers. The Watchers. We know. We've been tracking them for 20 years. EM. 20 years? Why didn't you tell the world? The Watchers. Would you have believed us? Would anyone? EM. How long do we have? The Watchers. The countdown shows 17 days from today. Jamie's hands were shaking as she continued reading. EM had to be Elon Musk. But who were the Watchers? And what countdown were they talking about? The messages got more urgent as she scrolled down EM. I can't keep this secret anymore. People deserve to know. The Watchers. If you tell them too soon, there will be panic, chaos. We need more time to prepare. EM. Prepare for what? An invasion? How do you prepare 7 billion people for an alien invasion? The Watchers. The same way we prepared for every other threat humanity has faced. Together. The last message was time-stamped just 2 hours before Elon's collapse. The Watchers. Something has changed. The signal pattern has accelerated. They know we're aware of them. EM. What does that mean? The Watchers. It means they're coming sooner than expected. You need to get to these coordinates immediately. Your neural implant is the key to understanding their communication frequency. Below the message was a set of GPS coordinates and a single word. Run! Jamie quickly copied the coordinates into her phone. They pointed to a location in the mountains of Colorado. But before she could investigate further, she heard footsteps in the hallway outside. She quickly closed the message program and hid behind one of the server racks. Through the glass door, she could see 2 men in black suits walking toward the room. They moved like military personnel, alert and disciplined. The access logs show someone was here, one of them said. Impossible. Only 3 people have clearance for this level. Then we have a security breach. Jamie held her breath as they entered the room. The men walked directly to the computer terminal and began checking the recent activity logs. Someone accessed the lighthouse files, the first man said. All of them. We need to report this immediately. Report to who? Musk is in a coma. The key watchers are maintaining radio silence, and we're 17 days away from the end of the world. The second man sat down at the terminal and began typing. I'm initiating lockdown protocol. No one gets access to these files until we figure out who the leak is. Jamie realized she had to get out of there immediately. She slowly moved toward the back of the room, using the server racks as cover. There was an emergency exit that led to the main factory floor. But as she reached for the door handle, her phone buzzed with a text message. The sound was barely audible, but in the quiet room it might as well have been a fire alarm. Both men turned toward her hiding spot. Did you hear that? Jamie didn't. Wait to find out. She pushed through the emergency exit and ran up the stairs as fast as she could. Behind her, she heard shouting and the sound of running footsteps. She burst through the door onto the main factory floor. Workers looked up in surprise as she sprinted between the assembly lines, heading for the main exit. Her phone was buzzing continuously now with new messages. Jamie reached her car and threw herself inside, locking the doors immediately. Her hands were shaking so badly she could barely start the engine. As she drove out of the Tesla parking lot, she checked her phone. 3 new messages from an unknown number. You accessed the lighthouse files. We know who you are, Jamie Foster. Colorado coordinates. Come alone. Trust no one else. Humanity's survival depends on it. Jamie looked in. Her rearview mirror. 2 black SUVs were following her at a distance. She had stumbled into something far bigger than corporate espionage. Elon Musk hadn't collapsed from stress or overwork. He had been trying to warn the world about something that was coming in 17 days, and now Jamie was the only person who knew the truth about Project Lighthouse. She pressed the accelerator and headed for the highway. Colorado was 8 hours away by car. She had to get there before the men in black suits caught up with her. Behind her, the black SUVs accelerated too. The race to save humanity had begun. Dr. Marcus Rodriguez stood in the middle of the very large array in New Mexico, surrounded by 27 massive radio telescope dishes that pointed toward the stars. Each dish was 82 feet wide and moved slowly across the desert sky like giant white flowers following the sun. But tonight, they were all pointed at the same spot in space. Alpha Centauri. Dr. Lisa Park walked toward him across the dusty ground, carrying a thick folder of papers and a laptop computer. She had flown in from Puerto Rico 3 hours ago, and her face showed the exhaustion of someone who hadn't slept in days. Marcus, thank you for meeting me here, Lisa said, shaking his hand. I couldn't send this data over any network. Too dangerous. How dangerous are we talking about? Marcus asked, leading her toward the main control building. World-ending dangerous. Inside the control room, dozens of computer monitors showed radio wave patterns from across the galaxy. Technicians worked quietly at their stations, tracking everything from distant pulsars to signals from NASA's deep space probes. But Marcus led Lisa to a small private room in the back of the building. He locked the door behind them and activated a special device that would block any electronic listening equipment. Okay, Lisa, show me what you've found. Lisa opened her laptop and pulled up a complex graph showing radio wave patterns. To most people, it would look like random static. But to trained scientists like Marcus and Lisa, it told a terrifying story. This is the signal we've been tracking from Alpha Centauri, Lisa said, pointing at the screen. It repeats every 12 hours, just like we discussed. But look at this. She clicked to a new screen showing the same pattern, but with different colors highlighting specific parts. The signal isn't random, Marcus. It's not even a greeting. Look at these sections here. Here and here. Marcus studied the patterns carefully. His training in radio astronomy had taught him to recognize different types of signals. Natural phenomena had certain characteristics. Random noise looked different. But this, Lisa, this looks like military communication protocols. Exactly. Lisa clicked to another screen. This one showed a breakdown of the signal into smaller parts, like taking apart a watch to see how it worked. "I've been running this through our most advanced computers for weeks," she said. The signal contains multiple layers of information. The first layer is basic mathematics, probably to show they're intelligent. The second layer is star charts, showing our solar system. And the third layer? Tactical information, troop numbers, landing coordinates, attack schedules. Marcus felt his mouth go dry. Attack schedules for what? Lisa pulled up a new file. This one showed a map of Earth with red dots marking major cities around the world. 12 cities, Marcus. New York, London, Tokyo, Beijing, Moscow, Mumbai, São Paulo, Lagos, Sydney, Cairo, Mexico City, and Los Angeles. Each dot represents a planned landing zone. Marcus stared at the map. Those 12 cities contained over 200 million people, combined. "When?" he asked quietly. "That's where it gets worse." Lisa clicked to the final screen. The signal contains a countdown sequence. When I first detected it 127 days ago, it was counting down from that number. Today, it shows 17 days remaining. 17 days until what? Until coordinated simultaneous attacks on all 12 cities. Marcus C. sat down heavily in his chair. He had spent his entire career studying the universe, hoping to find signs of intelligent life. Now that he had found it, he wished he hadn't. "Lisa, show me the full signal breakdown. Everything." For the next hour, Lisa walked Marcus through every detail of the alien transmission. The more he learned, the more terrified he became. The aliens weren't just planning to attack Earth. They had done this before, many times, to many different worlds. The signal contained references to at least 30 other planetary systems that had been processed, their word for complete destruction of all intelligent life. They're not invaders, Marcus realized. They're exterminators. "That's not the worst part," Lisa said quietly. "There's something worse than planned genocide." Lisa pulled up one final file. "Marcus, remember how I told you we were receiving similar signals from 6 other star systems?" "Yes. It's not 6 anymore. As of this morning, we're detecting the same countdown pattern from 43 different systems, all targeting different worlds, all synchronized to attack at exactly the same time." Marcus felt like he was going to throw up. They're attacking 43 different planets simultaneously? At least 43 that we can detect. There could be hundreds more. Marcus stood up and walked to the small window that looked out at the radio telescope array. Those beautiful dishes that had spent decades listening for signs of life in the universe had instead discovered evidence of the galaxy's greatest monsters. "Lisa, we have to tell someone. The President, the United Nations, somebody. Tell them." "What?" "That radio telescopes in New Mexico and Puerto Rico have detected an alien invasion fleet that will attack Earth in 17 days? Marcus, they'll think we're crazy. Then we make them believe us." Lisa closed her laptop and looked at Marcus seriously. "There's something else. Something I haven't told anyone." "What?" "The signals aren't just coming from space anymore. 3 days ago, I started detecting similar patterns coming from Earth." Marcus felt his blood turn to ice. "From Earth?" "From multiple locations. underground facilities that aren't on any government maps. Whoever is sending these signals has been on our planet for a while, Marcus. They've been preparing. Marcus grabbed Lisa's shoulders. Where? Where are the Earth-based signals coming from? Lisa pulled out a printed map of the United States. Red X marks indicated signal sources in Colorado, Nevada, Alaska, and 3 other locations. The strongest signal is coming from somewhere in the Rocky Mountains near Cheyenne Mountain. Marcus knew that location. Every person who worked for NASA knew about Cheyenne Mountain. Lisa, that's where NORAD is located. North American Aerospace Defense Command. I know. If aliens have infiltrated NORAD, then they have access to every nuclear weapon in North America. Marcus and Lisa stared at each other in the small room, surrounded by the humming of computers and the distant sound of the radio dishes moving across the desert sky. Marcus, there's one more thing. The signal from Cheyenne Mountain isn't the same as the others. What do you mean? It's not alien. It's human. Someone inside that facility is broadcasting on the same frequency the aliens use. They're trying to communicate with the invasion fleet. Are they helping the aliens or fighting them? I don't know. But Marcus, whoever they are, they've been expecting this attack for a very long time. Marcus looked at the map again. Cheyenne Mountain was 8 hours away by car. If they left now, they could be there by morning. Lisa, pack everything. All the data, all the analysis. We're going to Colorado. Are you crazy? If there really are aliens at NORAD, we could be walking into a trap. Maybe. Or maybe we're walking into the only place on Earth where someone actually has a plan to fight back. Marcus grabbed his jacket and headed for the door. Either way, we're about to find out if humanity has any hope of surviving the next 17 days. Jamie Foster's hands gripped the steering wheel as she drove through the winding mountain roads of Colorado. She had been driving for 10 hours straight, stopping only for gas and to check if the black SUVs were still following her. They weren't. She had lost them somewhere outside Denver by taking back roads through the mountains, but she didn't feel safe. She wouldn't feel safe until she understood what Project Lighthouse really was. The GPS coordinates from Elon's message led her deep into the Rocky Mountains, far from any town or highway. The road got narrower and more dangerous with each mile. On one side was a steep mountain wall. On the other side was a drop that disappeared into darkness. Finally, after driving for what felt like hours on a road that barely existed, Jamie saw a sign. Authorized personnel only. U.S. government property. She was near Cheyenne Mountain, but the GPS coordinates led her past the famous NORAD facility to an unmarked dirt road that wound even higher into the mountains. Jamie's car struggled with the steep climb and thin air. At the end of the road was a simple metal gate with no signs or guards. Just a small electronic box next to the driver's window. Jamie rolled down her window and waited. After a moment, a voice spoke from the box. State your name and business. Jamie Foster. I'm here about Project Lighthouse. Are you alone? Yes. Exit your vehicle and walk through the gate. Leave all electronic devices in your car. The gate clicked open. Jamie grabbed her backpack but left her phone, laptop, and everything else in the car. She walked through the gate and heard it close behind her with a heavy clang. A narrow path led up the mountainside to what looked like a solid rock wall. But as Jamie got closer, she could see it was actually a hidden entrance built into the mountain itself. The rock wall slid open as she approached. Inside was a long tunnel carved directly into the mountain. LED lights along the ceiling showed the way forward. Jamie walked for 10 minutes through the tunnel before reaching another door. This one was made of thick steel and looked like it could survive a nuclear explosion. The door opened before she could knock. Jamie Foster. The woman who greeted her was in her 50s, with gray hair and tired eyes. She wore a simple black sweater and jeans, but carried herself like a military officer. "I'm Dr. Elena Vasquez. We've been expecting you." "Expecting me?" "Elon told us you might figure out the truth. He said you were one of the smartest cybersecurity experts he'd ever met." Elena led Jamie through another series of tunnels. The walls were lined with computer equipment and strange devices that Jamie didn't recognize. The air hummed with electrical energy. "Dr. Vasquez, what is this place?" "This is the headquarters of an organization that doesn't officially exist. We call ourselves the Watchers." They entered a large room carved out of solid rock. Computer screens covered every wall, showing star charts, radio wave patterns, and real-time satellite feeds from around the world. 20 people worked at various stations, all wearing the same tired, worried expressions as Dr. Vasquez. "Welcome to humanity's early warning system," Elena said. Jamie stared at the massive displays. One screen showed a countdown timer: 16 days, 14 hours, 23 minutes, 17 seconds. "You've been tracking the alien signals," Jamie said. "For 20 years, Elena replied. "We've known they were coming. We just didn't know when." Elena led Jamie to a conference room where the walls were covered with photos, documents, and maps. It looked like the workspace of someone trying to solve the world's most complex puzzle. "Jamie, what I'm about to tell you will change everything. You thought you knew about human history." Elena picked up a thick file labeled First Contact, 2004. 21 years ago, we detected the first alien transmission. It wasn't from Alpha Centauri. It was from a crashed spacecraft in Antarctica. Jamie's eyes widened. A crashed spacecraft? A probe ship. It had been there for thousands of years, buried under the ice. When global warming caused ice shelves to melt, the ship's emergency beacon activated. Elena showed Jamie photos of a strange metallic object partially buried in ice and snow. The beacon sent a signal into deep space, a signal that said, "We found another world with intelligent life." The aliens who crashed here were the good guys? "No," Elena said sadly. "They were scouts, advanced reconnaissance for the species that's coming now. The species we call the Harvesters." Elena pulled up another file, this one filled with technical diagrams and alien text. "We learned their language by studying the crashed ship's computer systems. Jamie, the Harvesters have been traveling across the galaxy for millions of years. They find worlds with intelligent life, study them, and then harvest them. Harvest them how? They extract every bit of knowledge and technology the species has developed. Then they eliminate all life on the planet and move on to the next world." Jamie felt sick. How many worlds have they destroyed? Based on the data from the crashed ship, at least 10,000 planets. Entire civilizations wiped out, so the Harvesters can add their knowledge to their collection. Elena walked to another wall covered with photos of strange artifacts and technology. "For 20 years, we've been preparing. We've reverse-engineered alien technology. We've built hidden facilities around the world. We've developed weapons and defenses using principles we learned from the crashed ship." "We? How many people know about this?" "Officially, about 200 people worldwide. Scientists, military officers, engineers, all sworn to secrecy." "Why keep it secret?" Elena sat down and looked directly at Jamie. "Because we learned something else from the crashed ship. The Harvesters don't just attack randomly. They wait until a species reaches a certain level of technological development. Space travel, global communication networks, Advanced computers. Like we have now. Exactly. If we had announced the truth 20 years ago, the panic would have set back human technological development by decades. We needed humanity to keep advancing, keep developing new technologies that we could use to fight back. Jamie was starting to understand. Elon's space program, his neural implants, his quantum computers, all designed with the harvesters in mind. Elon has been one of our key contributors for 5 years. Is that why he collapsed? Elena's expression became even more serious. Jamie, Elon volunteered for an experimental procedure 6 months ago. We surgically enhanced his Neuralink implant to receive and process alien communication frequencies. You turned him into a living radio receiver? We turned him into humanity's best hope of understanding how the harvesters think and communicate. But 3 weeks ago, something went wrong. Elena pulled up a medical file on one of the computer screens. Elon's enhanced brain started receiving signals we hadn't detected before. Signals that suggested the harvesters knew we were aware of them. The invasion timeline accelerated from 5 years to 17 days. The stress of keeping that secret caused his collapse? No, Jamie. The collapse was intentional. Jamie stared at Elena in shock. Elon knew that his collapse would be broadcast worldwide. He knew his final words would make people ask questions. He sacrificed his health to give humanity a warning. Elena stood up and walked to a window that looked out over the underground facility. But there's something else. Something we discovered just yesterday that changes everything. What? Elon's brain is still connected to the alien communication network. Even in his coma, his enhanced mind is processing massive amounts of information about the harvesters' invasion plans. Elena turned back to Jamie with a desperate expression. Jamie, we think Elon's unconscious mind may have figured out how to stop them, but accessing that information could kill him. What kind of information? Technical specifications for their ships, weaknesses in their technology, maybe even a way to turn their own weapons against them. Jamie looked around the room at all, the evidence of humanity's secret 20-year preparation for this moment. Dr. Vasquez, what do you need me to do? We need you to help us break into Elon's mind. Dr. Yuki Tanaka had not slept in 36 hours. She sat in the Neuralink facility in San Francisco, staring at brain scan readings that should have been impossible. Elon Musk lay unconscious in the medical bed beside her, connected to machines that monitored every electrical impulse in his brain. But what those machines were detecting defied everything Dr. Tanaka knew about neuroscience. Elon's brain was more active now than when he was awake. Dr. Tanaka was the lead neuroscientist for Neuralink, the company Elon had founded to connect human brains directly to computers. She had designed the experimental implant that was currently wired into Elon's skull. She thought she understood exactly what it could and couldn't do. She was wrong. The implant was designed to read brain signals and translate them into computer commands. It should have been dormant while Elon was unconscious. Instead, it was processing more data than Dr. Tanaka had ever seen before. Her computer screen showed real-time brain activity patterns. Normal human brain activity looked like gentle waves on an ocean. Elon's brain activity looked like a lightning storm. Dr. Tanaka's phone rang. She checked the caller ID. Dr. Sarah Chen from Austin General Hospital. Dr. Chen? How is Elon's physical condition? Stable. But Dr. Tanaka, I need to ask you about his neural implant. Are you seeing unusual activity? Unusual doesn't begin to describe it. Sarah, his brain is processing information faster than our most advanced computers. What happened during his collapse? I was hoping you could tell me. Right before he lost consciousness, He mentioned something about frequencies and quantum signals. Dr. Tanaka pulled up another screen showing the specific frequencies the implant was detecting. Sarah, the implant is receiving structured data transmissions. Radio signals from an unknown source. Radio signals? From where? That's the problem. The signals appear to be coming from space. Dr. Tanaka heard Dr. Chen gasp on the other end of the phone. Dr. Tanaka, I need to tell you something that's going to sound crazy. For the next 10 minutes, Dr. Chen explained everything she had learned from Dr. Rodriguez about the alien signals and the 17-day countdown. She told Dr. Tanaka about Project Lighthouse and the coordinated invasion plan. Dr. Tanaka listened in growing amazement and terror. Dr. Chen, if what you're telling me is true, then Elon's brain implant isn't malfunctioning. It's working exactly as designed. What do you mean? The enhanced version of the implant that Elon volunteered to test wasn't just designed to connect to computers. It was designed to receive and decode alien communication frequencies. Dr. Tanaka pulled up classified files on her computer that she had never shown to anyone. 6 months ago, Elon came to me with technical specifications for modifications to the neural implant. He said it was for an experimental communication project. I thought he wanted to connect directly to satellite networks. But he was actually preparing to communicate with aliens? It appears so. And Dr. Chen, based on what I'm seeing now, his unconscious mind is successfully translating their entire communication network in real time. Dr. Tanaka stood up and walked to the window overlooking San Francisco Bay. Somewhere up in the sky, an alien invasion fleet was approaching Earth, and the only person who could understand their plans was lying unconscious in the bed behind her. Sarah, there's something else. The data Elon's brain is processing isn't just communication signals. What else? Technical specifications, ship designs, weapon systems, navigation protocols. His enhanced mind is essentially hacking into their military database. Dr. Tanaka turned back to her computers and began typing rapidly. I'm seeing detailed schematics for their spacecraft, power source designs, even what appears to be tactical information about their planned attack. Can you access that information? That's the problem. The data exists only in Elon's unconscious mind. The neural implant is receiving it, but it's not saving it to any external computer system. Dr. Tanaka pulled up a new screen showing brainwave patterns over the past 24 hours. But Sarah, I think I've figured out why Elon collapsed when he did. Why? Look at this timeline. His brain activity started increasing dramatically 3 weeks ago. But yesterday, just hours before his collapse, there was a massive spike in data reception. Dr. Tanaka highlighted specific sections of the brain activity chart. The aliens detected his neural connection to their network. They tried to overload his brain with information, probably to disable him or drive him insane. But it didn't work? No. Elon's enhanced brain adapted to the information overload. Instead of being destroyed by it, his mind started processing and organizing the data. He's essentially become a living translation computer for their entire military database. Dr. Tanaka sat back down and looked at the unconscious man who might be humanity's only hope. Sarah, I believe Elon's unconscious mind has access to every detail of the alien invasion plan. Ship locations, attack schedules, weapon capabilities, and most importantly, weaknesses in their technology. How do we get that information? That's the question that's been keeping me awake. The only way to access the data would be to establish a direct neural link with Elon's enhanced implant. Is that possible? Theoretically, yes. I could modify another implant to connect directly to his. But Sarah, the feedback from that much alien data could stop a person's heart instantly. Dr. Tanaka pulled up medical files showing the stress levels on Elon's cardiovascular system. The strain of processing alien communications is already pushing Elon's body to its limits. Adding another neural connection could kill him. But without that information, the aliens will kill everyone. Dr. Tanaka was quiet for a long moment, studying the impossible choice in front of her. "There's one more option," she said finally. "I could modify my own neural implant and connect directly to Elon's mind." "Dr. Tanaka, you said that could be fatal." "For most people, yes, but I designed these systems. I know their capabilities and limitations better than anyone. If anyone could survive a direct connection to Elon's enhanced brain, it would be me." Dr. Tanaka walked back to Elon's bedside and looked at the neural implant interface built into his skull. "Sarah, I need you to get me in contact with Dr. Rodriguez and anyone else who's been tracking the alien signals. If I'm going to risk my life for this information, I want to make sure we have the best possible chance of using it to save humanity." "What do you need them to do?" "I need them to build transmission equipment that can broadcast on the same frequencies the aliens use. If Elon's mind has found weaknesses in their technology, we're going to need a way to exploit those weaknesses." Dr. Tanaka began preparing the medical equipment she would need to modify her own neural implant. "Sarah, one more thing. If this procedure goes wrong and I don't survive, make sure someone else continues this work. The information in Elon's mind might be the only thing standing between humanity and extinction." "Dr. Tanaka, are you sure about this?" 16 days ago, I was a neuroscientist working on medical devices to help paralyzed patients. Today, I'm preparing to risk my life to hack into an alien military database using a technology that shouldn't even exist." Dr. Tanaka looked out. The window at the city of San Francisco, where 800,000 people were going about their normal lives, completely unaware that their world was about to end. "I'm not sure about anything anymore, Sarah, but I know that doing nothing guarantees we all die. At least this way, we have a chance." Jamie Foster sat in front of 20 computer screens in the Watcher's underground facility. Her fingers flew across multiple keyboards as she prepared to do something that would change the world forever. She was about to release classified alien invasion files to every major news outlet on Earth. "Are you sure about this?" Dr. Elena Vasquez asked, standing behind Jamie's chair. "Once this information goes public, there's no going back." Jamie looked at the countdown timer on the wall. 15 days, 8 hours, 12 minutes, 3 seconds. "Dr. Vasquez, we've been keeping this secret for 20 years. The aliens know we're aware of them. The invasion is coming whether we're ready or not. People deserve to know the truth." Jamie had spent the past 6 hours organizing all the evidence into files that ordinary people could understand. Radio telescope data from Dr. Rodriguez and Dr. Park. Photos of the crashed Antarctic probe. Technical analysis of alien communications. Video recordings of Elon's collapse with enhanced audio that clearly captured his warning. Most importantly, she had created a simple timeline that showed exactly what would happen in 15 days if humanity didn't fight back. "The panic will be enormous," Elena warned. "The panic might also save us," Jamie replied. "Elena, look at human history. We do our best work when we're desperate." Jamie opened communication channels to CNN, BBC, Fox News, NBC, Al Jazeera, and 50 other news organizations around the world. She had hacked into their secure systems, something that would normally take weeks of careful work. But the Watchers had given her access to quantum computers that made her regular cybersecurity tools look like Stone Age weapons. "Sending files." "Now," Jamie announced. Across the globe, news directors and journalists received identical packages of information marked Urgent, Alien Invasion, 15 days remaining. The first response came from CNN in Atlanta. "This is CNN Newsroom. We've received your files. Is this some kind of joke?" Jamie activated her microphone. "This is not a joke. Check the source authentication codes. Cross-reference the radio telescope data with NASA and international space agencies. Verify the medical records from Elon Musk's collapse. You have 2 hours to confirm everything before we send this to social media." Similar conversations began happening in newsrooms around the world. Skeptical journalists and editors started making phone calls to government sources, space agencies, and research institutions. Within 1 hour, the story broke simultaneously on every major news network. Breaking news. Multiple sources confirm alien invasion fleet approaching Earth. Exclusive. Secret government organization reveals 20-year preparation for extraterrestrial attack. Countdown to invasion. 15 days until coordinated alien. Assault on 12 major cities. Jamie watched the global reaction on dozens of news feeds. The initial response was exactly what Elena had predicted. Panic. Stock markets crashed within minutes. People flooded grocery stores and gas stations. Phone networks overloaded as everyone tried to call their families. Airport security was overwhelmed as thousands of people tried to flee major cities. But then, something unexpected happened. The panic turned into determination. Dr. Rodriguez and Dr. Park appeared on live television from the Very Large Array in New Mexico, explaining the alien communication signals in simple terms that everyone could understand. "These signals are not random," Dr. Rodriguez told a global audience of 2 billion people. "They contain detailed invasion plans, but they also contain something else. Proof that this alien species can be defeated." "How do you know they can be defeated?" asked the CNN anchor. "Because we're not the first species they've attacked," Dr. Park replied. "The signals contain references to other worlds that fought back successfully. Civilizations that survived and are now part of a galactic resistance movement." Meanwhile, world leaders who had been briefed on the situation years ago finally went public with their knowledge. The President of the United States addressed the nation from the Oval Office. "My fellow Americans and citizens of the world, what you have learned today is true. For 20 years, an international coalition of scientists and military leaders has been preparing for this moment. We are not defenseless." The president revealed that hidden facilities around the world had been developing advanced weapons using reverse-engineered alien technology. Underground bunkers could protect millions of civilians. Military forces had been secretly training for exactly this scenario. "But we cannot win this fight alone," the president continued. "Every nation, every scientist, every engineer, every person willing to defend their world must work together for the next 15 days. Similar announcements came from leaders in China, Russia, the European Union, India, and dozens of other countries. For the first time in human history, the entire world was uniting against a common threat. In research facilities from MIT to Oxford to Tokyo University, teams of scientists began working around the clock. They shared data openly, abandoning patents and trade secrets in favor of species survival. SpaceX engineers who had been secretly building defensive satellites for years finally revealed their work. The Tesla gigafactories that Jamie had thought were building electric cars were actually mass-producing quantum frequency disruptors. Dr. Sarah Chen appeared on medical news programs explaining Elon's condition and the neural implant technology that might save humanity. Elon Musk volunteered to have his brain enhanced specifically to understand alien communications, she told the world. His unconscious mind is currently processing their invasion plans in real time. We believe he may have discovered their weaknesses. But the most important development came from an unexpected source. Amateur radio operators around the world started detecting new signals, not from space, but from Earth's deep oceans. We're picking up the same alien frequencies from underwater locations, reported a ham radio operator in Japan. There are structures on the ocean floor that are broadcasting to the invasion fleet. Within hours, every country with a navy was sending submarines to investigate. They found massive underwater facilities that had been hidden beneath the ocean for thousands of years. Ancient alien bases that were now preparing to assist the invasion. But they also found something else. The underwater bases weren't all alien. Some of them were clearly human-built, using alien technology. Hidden bases where the Watchers and other secret organizations had been preparing humanity's defense for decades. As news of the underwater discoveries spread, people realized that the fight for Earth had actually been going on much longer than anyone knew. Dr. Elena Vasquez appeared on international television from the Colorado facility. The organization I represent has been preparing for this day for 20 years, she announced. We call ourselves the Watchers. But we're not the only ones. Similar groups exist on every continent, in every major country. Elena revealed the existence of a global network of hidden facilities, underground laboratories, and secret weapons caches. We have quantum frequency disruptors that can disable alien ships. We have reverse-engineered energy weapons. We have underground shelters that can protect millions of people. But most importantly, we have something the aliens don't expect. "What's that?" asked the BBC interviewer. "We have 7 billion humans who refuse to give up." Jamie watched the global response from her computer station. The panic had transformed into the largest cooperative effort in human history. Countries that had been enemies for decades were sharing military resources. Scientists who had never met were collaborating on weapon designs. Ordinary people were volunteering for everything from evacuation planning to equipment manufacturing. But the countdown timer kept ticking. Days, 23 hours, 7 minutes, 15 seconds. Jamie opened a secure communication channel to Dr. Tanaka in San Francisco. "Dr. Tanaka, this is Jamie Foster. The world knows the truth now. How soon can you attempt the neural connection with Elon?" "I'm making final preparations now. Jamie, the global response has been incredible, but we still need the specific technical data from Elon's mind. Without knowing exactly how to exploit their weaknesses, all our weapons and defenses might not be enough. What do you need from us?" "I need teams of quantum physicists and military engineers standing by to receive and implement whatever information I can extract. If Elon's brain has found a way to turn their own technology against them, we'll have maybe hours to build and deploy countermeasures." Jamie looked around the facility where dozens of the Watchers' scientists were working frantically on defensive systems. "Dr. Tanaka, we'll be ready, but promise me something." "What?" "Promise me that Elon's sacrifice won't be for nothing. Promise me that if you don't survive the neural connection, someone else will continue the work." "I promise, Jamie. And I promise something else, too." "What?" "In 14 days, when this is all over, humanity is going to be part of something much bigger than just defending Earth. We're going to join the galactic resistance and make sure no other world ever has to face this threat alone." Jamie smiled for the first time in days. Despite the countdown timer, despite the approaching invasion fleet, despite the overwhelming odds against survival, she felt something she hadn't expected. Hope. 3 days had passed since the world learned the truth. 3 days of frantic preparation, global cooperation, and desperate hope. Now, With only 3 days left on the countdown, everything humanity had worked for was about to be tested. Jamie Foster stood in the main control room of the Watcher's Colorado facility, coordinating with defense teams around the world. Giant screens showed the status of quantum frequency disruptors being installed in 12 major cities. Tesla gigafactories worked around the clock to produce the alien tech weapons that might be humanity's only chance. But everyone knew that without the information locked in Elon Musk's mind, all their preparations might be useless. Jamie, we have a problem, Dr. Elena Vasquez said, walking quickly into the control room. She carried a tablet showing satellite imagery that made Jamie's blood turn cold. Dark shapes had appeared at the edge of Earth's solar system. When did they arrive? Jamie asked. 2 hours ago. Our deep space telescopes detected them passing Jupiter. They're moving faster than we calculated. Jamie studied the images. The alien ships were massive, each one the size of a small city. And there were dozens of them. How long until they reach Earth? At their current speed, 18 hours, not 3 days. Jamie felt her stomach drop. They had been preparing for a coordinated invasion in 3 days. Now they had less than a day. Elena, get me Dr. Tanaka immediately. Within minutes, Dr. Tanaka's face appeared on the main screen from the Neuralink facility in San Francisco. Behind her, Jamie could see Elon lying unconscious, connected to dozens of monitoring devices. Dr. Tanaka, the invasion fleet has arrived early. We need that neural connection attempt now. Jamie, I'm not ready. The procedure is incredibly dangerous. If I rush it, if you don't rush it, we're all dead anyway. Dr. Tanaka was quiet for a moment, studying the brain activity monitors beside Elon's bed. All right, but I need something. From you first. I need a direct communication link to every defense facility on Earth. If I manage to extract the information from Elon's mind, it has to be transmitted instantly to every quantum disruptor and weapon system we have. Jamie began typing rapidly on her keyboards. Setting up the global defense network now. You'll have direct access to facilities in New York, London, Tokyo, Beijing, Moscow, Mumbai, São Paulo, Lagos, Sydney, Cairo, Mexico City, and Los Angeles. What about the underwater bases? Those too. Elena discovered that the human-built underwater facilities are equipped with massive quantum transmitters. If we can coordinate them with the surface defenses, we might be able to create a planet-wide interference field. Dr. Tanaka began preparing the neural interface equipment. Jamie, there's something you need to know. The procedure might kill both Elon and me. If that happens, make sure someone else continues our work. Dr. Tanaka, you're going to survive this. You have to. Meanwhile, Dr. Marcus Rodriguez and Dr. Lisa Park had arrived at the Very Large Array in New Mexico. They were coordinating with radio telescopes around the world to track the approaching alien fleet. Jamie, this is Marcus. His voice came through the communication system. We're getting detailed scans of the alien ships now. They're unlike anything we've ever seen. How unlike? They're not just ships, Jamie. They're floating cities. Each one contains millions of inhabitants. This isn't just an invasion force. It's a migration fleet. Dr. Park's voice joined the conversation. The lead ships are already entering Earth's atmosphere over the Pacific Ocean. They're taking positions above each target city. Jamie pulled up real-time satellite feeds from around the world. Above New York, London, Tokyo, and the other target, cities, massive dark shapes blotted out the sun. The alien ships were so large they created artificial eclipses wherever they positioned themselves. Dr. Tanaka, you need to begin the neural connection now. Beginning procedure, Dr. Tanaka replied. In the Neuralink facility, Dr. Tanaka placed a modified neural implant device on her own head. She had spent the past 3 days creating a direct interface that could connect her brain to Elon's enhanced implant. Dr. Chen, are you monitoring Elon's vital signs? Dr. Tanaka asked. Dr. Sarah Chen's voice came from Austin General Hospital. All systems ready. His brain activity is more intense than ever. It's like his mind knows what's coming. Dr. Tanaka activated the neural connection device. Immediately, pain shot through her skull as her brain tried to process the massive flow of information coming from Elon's mind. Images flashed through her consciousness faster than thought. Alien ship schematics, weapon system designs, navigation, protocols, and something else. Something that made her gasp out loud. Jamie, I'm seeing something impossible, Dr. Tanaka said, her voice strained from the neural connection. What are you seeing? The aliens aren't just planning to attack Earth. They're running from something that's been chasing them across the galaxy. Dr. Tanaka's vision filled with images of destroyed alien worlds, massive battles in space, fleets of ships fleeing from an even more terrifying enemy. The harvesters aren't the ultimate predators, she continued. They're refugees. They harvest planets because their own homeworld was destroyed by something else. What destroyed their world? Other civilizations that fought back. Jamie, there's a galactic resistance movement that's been hunting the harvesters for millions of years. And they're almost here. Through Elon's neural connection, Dr. Tanaka saw the truth. The crashed probe in Antarctica hadn't just been sending invasion signals, it had also been broadcasting humanity's location to the resistance forces. How long until the resistance arrives? According to the data in Elon's mind, 6 hours. Jamie felt hope surge through her chest. So we just have to survive for 6 hours? It's not that simple, Dr. Tanaka replied, her voice growing weaker as the neural strain increased. The harvesters know the resistance is coming. That's why they moved up their invasion timeline. They're going to strip mine Earth of all its resources and population before the resistance arrives. Can we stop them? Dr. Tanaka gritted her teeth as more information flowed from Elon's mind to hers. Technical specifications for harvester technology, power source locations, shield frequencies. Yes, but it requires perfect coordination of every defense system on the planet. Tell me what to do. The harvester ships have a critical weakness. Their navigation and life support systems all depend on a central quantum frequency generator located in the lead ship above New York City. Jamie pulled up a satellite view of New York. The alien ship hanging over Manhattan was twice the size of the others. If we can overload that frequency generator, it will cascade through their entire fleet. Every ship will lose power simultaneously. How do we overload it? By coordinating every quantum disruptor on Earth to broadcast the same interference pattern at exactly the same moment. But Jamie, the timing has to be perfect. Even 1 second of delay will allow their systems to adapt. Dr. Tanaka's brain activity monitors began showing dangerous spikes. The neural connection was pushing her mind to its breaking point. I'm downloading the exact frequency patterns now, she said, but I don't know how much longer I can maintain the connection. Jamie began transmitting the frequency data to defense facilities around the world. Tesla gigafactories started modifying their quantum disruptors to match the specifications. Underground facilities powered up their alien tech weapons. The human-built underwater bases prepared their massive transmitters. Dr. Tanaka, we're receiving the data. How much more time do you need? Just a few more minutes. I need to extract the precise timing sequences for... Dr. Tanaka's voice cut off. Her neural connection monitors flatlined. "Dr. Tanaka, respond." In the Neuralink facility, Dr. Tanaka had collapsed beside Elon's bed. Both of their brains were overloading from the massive data transfer. But the download was complete. Jamie now had everything humanity needed to fight back. The exact frequencies to disrupt harvester technology, the timing sequences for coordinated attacks, and, most importantly, the knowledge that help was coming. Outside the Colorado facility, Jamie could see the massive alien ship positioning itself above Denver. It blotted out the afternoon sun, casting the entire mountain range into shadow. "Elena, activate all defenses. Signal every facility on Earth. We're going to hit them with everything we have." "Jamie, what if this doesn't work?" "Then at least we'll go down fighting." Jamie looked at the countdown timer one last time. 6 hours, 23 minutes, 14 seconds, until the galactic resistance arrived. She opened a global communication channel to every defense facility, every government leader, every person who had volunteered to fight for humanity's survival. "This is Jamie Foster at Watcher's command. Operation Lightning Storm begins in 30 minutes. Every quantum disruptor, every frequency transmitter, every weapon we've built for the past 20 years fires simultaneously." She paused, looking around at the determined faces of the scientists and engineers who had dedicated their lives to this moment. "Today, we don't just defend Earth. Today, we join the galactic resistance and help free the universe from the harvester threat." Above them, the alien ship began powering up its harvesting beam. The final battle for Earth was about to begin. Dr. Yuki Tanaka's eyes fluttered open in the Neuralink facility. Her head felt like it had been split in half with an axe. Every thought sent waves of pain through her skull. But she was alive. More importantly, she had succeeded. "Dr. Tanaka, can you hear me?" Dr. Sarah Chen's voice came through the communication system from Austin. "I'm here," Yuki whispered, her voice barely audible. "Did the data transfer complete?" "Every bit of it. Jamie has the frequency patterns, timing sequences, and technical specifications. But Yuki, there's something else." "Doctor." Tanaka tried to sit up, but her body wouldn't respond properly. The neural connection had drained every ounce of her strength. "What is it?" "Elon is awake." Dr. Tanaka turned her head toward the medical bed beside her. Elon Musk's eyes were open, staring at the ceiling with an expression of wonder and terror. "Elon, can you hear me?" she asked. Elon turned his head slowly toward her. When he spoke, his voice sounded different, deeper, more complex, as if multiple people were speaking through him at once. "Dr. Tanaka, the connection is still active. I can see everything they see. Feel everything they feel." "The harvesters?" "Not just the harvesters. The entire galactic network. Every civilization that's ever been touched by this technology." Elon sat up in bed, his enhanced brain processing information faster than any human mind should be able to handle. "There are thousands of worlds in the resistance network, species that survived harvester attacks and learned to fight back. They've been watching Earth for decades, waiting for us to develop enough to join them." Dr. Tanaka pulled herself into a sitting position. Outside the facility windows, she could see the massive harvester ship positioned over San Francisco. Its harvesting beam was already beginning to extract resources from the city below. "Elon, how much time do we have?" "The resistance fleet will arrive in 4 hours and 37 minutes. But the harvesters know they're coming. They're going to strip everything they can from Earth before then." Through the neural link, Elon could see the harvester operation in real time. Massive extraction beams were pulling raw materials, technology, and even people up into the ships. The process was terrifyingly efficient. Dr. Tanaka, I need to tell you something that will change how you understand this entire situation. What? The harvesters aren't evil. They're desperate. Elon's enhanced mind showed him the complete history of the galactic conflict. The harvesters had once been a peaceful civilization, much like humanity. But their homeworld had been destroyed by an even more ancient enemy, a species called the Devourers that consumed entire solar systems. The harvesters have been fleeing across the galaxy for millions of years, Elon explained. They harvest other worlds not because they want to, but because they need resources to keep running from the Devourers. Where are the Devourers now? Gone. The galactic resistance destroyed them 10,000 years ago. But the harvesters don't know that. They've been running from an enemy that no longer exists. Dr. Tanaka felt her understanding of the conflict completely shift. So, this whole war is based on a misunderstanding? Partly. But after millions of years of harvesting worlds, many harvesters have become addicted to the power it gives them. They can't stop, even though they don't need to run anymore. Through the facility's communication system, Jamie Foster's voice crackled from Colorado. Dr. Tanaka, Elon, are you receiving this? We're 60 seconds from coordinated attack. We're here, Jamie, Dr. Tanaka replied. But I need to tell you something about the harvesters that changes our strategy. No time for strategy changes. The attack is already beginning. Around the world, quantum frequency disruptors powered up simultaneously. In New York, London, Tokyo, Beijing, Moscow, Mumbai, São Paulo, Lagos, Sydney, Cairo, Mexico City, and Los Angeles. Teams of engineers prepared to fire the most powerful coordinated weapon in human history. But Elon's enhanced brain was receiving new information through the neural network. Jamie, wait, he shouted. I'm getting communication from the resistance fleet. They're trying to tell us something. Through the neural link, Elon could hear voices from across the galaxy. Dozens of different species, all speaking at once in languages that his enhanced brain automatically translated. The resistance commander is trying to make contact, Elon said. She's been waiting 20 years for this moment. Who is she? Jamie asked. Her name is Zara 9. She's from a world that was harvested 300 years ago. Her people survived and built the resistance movement. Elon's consciousness expanded beyond Earth, connecting with minds across the galaxy. He could see the resistance. Fleet approaching. Hundreds of ships from dozens of different civilizations, all united in their determination to end the harvester threat forever. Dr. Tanaka, I need you to help me establish a direct communication link with Zara 9. If we can coordinate our attack with the resistance fleet, we might be able to do more than just defend Earth. What do you mean? We might be able to end this war. Dr. Tanaka modified the neural interface to allow Elon to broadcast directly to the approaching resistance fleet. The connection was established instantly. Humans of Earth, a voice spoke through Elon's enhanced mind. This is Commander Zara 9 of the Galactic Liberation Fleet. We have been watching your species with great interest. Jamie's voice came through the communication system. Commander, this is Jamie Foster of Earth Defense Command. We're about to attack the harvester frequency generators. Wait, we have a better plan. Through the neural network, Commander Zara 9 shared tactical information that had been developed over centuries of fighting harvesters. Instead of simply disabling their ships, the Resistance had learned how to reprogram harvester technology. Harvesters use a collective consciousness network, Zara 9 explained. If we can inject the right information into that network, we can show them the truth, that the Devourers are gone and they don't need to harvest worlds anymore. Elon's enhanced brain began processing the reprogramming sequences. Dr. Tanaka, this is incredible. We're not just going to defeat them, we're going to cure them. How? By showing them what we've learned about cooperation instead of conquest, about building instead of harvesting, about hope instead of fear. Dr. Tanaka watched as Elon's neural implant began transmitting new frequency patterns to the global defense network. Instead of destructive interference, they were broadcasting something unprecedented, a signal of peace and understanding. Jamie, change the attack plan, Dr. Tanaka called to Colorado. We're not destroying their frequency generators. We're going to use them to communicate. Around the world, quantum disruptors were modified in real time. Instead of weapons, they became the most powerful communication system ever built. All stations, this is Jamie Foster. Operation Lightning Storm is now Operation Open Hand. We're going to talk to them. Above Earth, the massive harvester ships detected the new signals. Their harvesting beams powered down as their collective consciousness network received something it had never experienced before. A message of welcome from a species that wanted to help rather than fight. Through the FIRB neural link, Elon could feel the shock and confusion rippling through the harvester fleet. For millions of years, every species they had encountered had either fled in terror or fought desperately for survival. Humanity was doing something different. Humanity was offering friendship. This is Elon Musk of Earth, speaking through the neural network to all harvester consciousness nodes, he broadcast. We know why you harvest worlds. We know you're running from an enemy that was destroyed 10,000 years ago. We know you're tired of running. The response came immediately, not from the harvester fleet, but from individual harvesters whose minds had been touched by the message of peace. Human Elon, the response came in the strange multiple-voice harmony of the harvester language. What you speak? Is this truth reality? It is truth reality. The devourers are gone. The resistance fleet approaching Earth contains survivors from hundreds of worlds. Worlds that chose cooperation over conquest. You don't have to harvest anymore. You can join us. Dr. Tanaka watched the neural activity monitors as Elon's brain processed responses from thousands of individual harvesters. Many were suspicious, some were angry, but many others were responding with something the harvesters hadn't felt in millions of years: hope. Dr. Tanaka, Elon said quietly, I think it's working, but the process is causing massive disruption in their collective consciousness. Some of them want to stop harvesting, others want to continue. They're essentially having a civil war in their own minds. What does that mean for Earth? It means the next few minutes will determine whether this ends with peace or with the total destruction of both our species. Above San Francisco, the harvester ship's harvesting beam flickered and died. Similar events were happening over every major city on Earth, as the harvester collective consciousness struggled with the most fundamental decision in their species' history: continue the path of conquest that had defined them for millions of years, or embrace the possibility of peace that humanity had offered. The fate of two civilizations hung in the balance. Above every major city on Earth, the massive harvester ships hung motionless in the sky. Their harvesting beams had shut down, but an eerie silence filled the air as billions of people looked up and waited to learn their fate. In the Neuralink facility, Elon Musk's enhanced brain was experiencing something no human mind had ever processed before. He was connected to the collective consciousness of an entire alien civilization as they fought the most important battle in their species' history. The battle was not being fought with weapons or technology. It was being fought with ideas. "Dr. Tanaka," Elon said, his voice strained from the mental effort. "I can feel them thinking. Millions of individual minds all connected together, trying to decide what they are." Dr. Tanaka monitored Elon's vital signs as his brain processed information from across the galaxy. What are they deciding? Whether they're conquerors or refugees? Whether they're monsters or victims? Whether they should continue the only life they've known for millions of years, or risk everything on the hope that humanity is telling them the truth? Through the neural link, Elon could sense the deep divisions within harvester society. The older minds, those who had been harvesting worlds for countless millennia, resisted change. To them, conquest was survival. Peace was just another word for death. But the younger minds, especially those who had been born during the long journey through space, were drawn to humanity's message. They had never known a homeworld. They had only known running and taking from others. The possibility of building something instead of destroying it was intoxicating. In the Colorado facility, Jamie Foster coordinated with resistance commanders who were now entering Earth's solar system. The quantum communication arrays that had been built to fight were now being used to mediate the galaxy's first interspecies peace negotiation. Commander Zara 9, this is Jamie Foster. What's the status of the resistance fleet? "We are 2 hours from Earth orbit," came the reply through the neural network. "But Jamie Human, what your species is attempting has never been tried before. In 300 years of fighting harvesters, no one has ever tried to communicate with their collective consciousness. Will it work? We do not know, but we are prepared for both outcomes." Jamie understood what that meant. If humanity's peace attempt failed, the resistance fleet would destroy every harvester ship in Earth's orbit, along with any humans who got caught in the crossfire. Dr. Marcus Rodriguez and Dr. Lisa Park were monitoring the situation from the Very Large Array in New Mexico. The radio telescopes that had first detected the alien threat were now tracking the most complex communication event in human history. "Jamie, we're detecting massive fluctuations in the harvester communication network," Dr. Rodriguez reported. "It's like they're having millions of conversations all at once. Can you understand what they're saying?" "Some of it. The translation software is improving in real time as Elon's brain learns more of their language. But Jamie, the conversations are getting more intense. Some harvester ships are powering up their weapons." Above New York City, the lead harvester ship began to glow with an ominous energy. Similar lights appeared on ships over London, Tokyo, and Beijing. The harvesters were preparing for war, not against humanity, but against each other. Through the neural link, Elon felt the collective consciousness beginning to fracture. Harvester minds that had been connected for millions of years were breaking apart as they chose sides in a conflict that would determine the future of both species. "Dr. Tanaka, I need to do something that might kill me," Elon said quietly. "What?" "I need to project my consciousness directly into their collective network. Show them not just our words, but our memories, our history, our dreams." Dr. Tanaka looked at the brain activity monitors. Elon's neural implant was already operating at dangerous levels. What he was proposing could burn out his brain entirely. "Elon, you could die." "Dr. Tanaka, if this fails, everyone dies anyway." Elon closed his eyes and pushed his enhanced consciousness deep into the harvester network. Suddenly, millions of alien minds were experiencing human memories directly. They saw Earth's history through human eyes, the development of agriculture, the building of cities, the creation of art and music and literature. They experienced human emotions, love, hope, curiosity, the desire to explore and learn and grow. But they also saw humanity's dark history, wars and genocide and environmental destruction, the same impulses toward conquest and domination that had driven the harvesters across the galaxy. The key difference was what humanity had learned from its mistakes. Through Elon's consciousness, the harvesters experienced humanity's greatest achievement, the ability to change, to recognize mistakes, and choose a different path, to cooperate instead of compete, to build instead of destroy. This is what we offer you, Elon broadcast to every harvester mind simultaneously. Not perfection, but the possibility of growth. Not conquest, but cooperation. Not fear, but hope. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Millions of harvester voices spoke at once, their collective consciousness resonating with emotions they had forgotten they could feel. Human Elon speaks truth reality, came the harmonized response. We have been running fleeing from Shadow's memories of destroyed enemy. We have been taking harvesting from fear-terror, not from need-necessity. But not all harvesters accepted the message. The older, more powerful minds in the collective consciousness fought back with desperate fury. Human lies, they broadcast. Cooperation weakness leads to death destruction. Only conquest strength ensures survival existence. Above Earth, the Boer, harvester fleet began to separate. Ships powered by minds that accepted humanity's message moved away from Earth, their weapons powering down. But ships controlled by the conquest faction moved closer, their harvesting beams beginning to charge. The harvester civil war had begun. In space above the Pacific Ocean, massive energy beams lanced between harvester ships as former allies turned, their weapons on each other. The peaceful faction tried to disable the conquest ships while protecting Earth from harm. The conquest faction fought with the desperation of a species that saw its entire worldview crumbling. Commander Zara 9, the harvesters are fighting each other, Jamie reported. Some of them are trying to protect Earth. We see this. The resistance. Fleet is moving to assist the peaceful harvesters. This is unprecedented. For the first time in galactic history, former enemies were fighting side by side. Resistance ships that had been built to destroy harvesters were now protecting them from their own kind. The battle was brief but decisive. The peaceful harvesters, aided by the resistance fleet, managed to disable or destroy every conquest faction ship. The galaxy's oldest war was ending not with total victory by one side, but with the transformation of the conflict itself. As the last conquest ship powered down above Moscow, an eerie quiet settled over Earth. Billions of people emerged from their homes and shelters to see something unprecedented in the sky above their cities. Harvester ships and resistance fleet vessels floating side by side in peaceful formation. Through the neural network, the collective consciousness of the peaceful harvesters spoke to humanity for the first time as friends rather than conquerors. Humans of Earth, the harmonized voice resonated through every quantum communication array on the planet. You have given us something we had forgotten, lost. You have given us hope, possibility. Elon's consciousness returned to his own body, exhausted but triumphant. The neural connection had permanently changed him. He would always be partially connected to the galactic network, but that connection would serve a new purpose. Dr. Tanaka, he said weakly, humanity just became part of something amazing. What do you mean? The galactic resistance isn't just a military alliance. It's a community of species that have learned to cooperate instead of compete. And now Earth is part of it. Jamie's voice came through the communication system from Colorado. Elon, Commander Zara 9 wants to speak with you directly. The alien commander's voice, translated through the neural network, carried a warmth that surprised everyone who heard it. "Human Elon, your species has accomplished something we thought impossible. You have healed a wound that has been bleeding across the galaxy for millions of years." "What happens now?" Elon asked. "Now, we begin the real work, helping the harvesters find new homes, sharing technology and knowledge among all species, building a galaxy based on cooperation instead of fear." Dr. Elena Vasquez appeared on the communication screen from the Colorado facility. "Commander, the Watchers would like to know, what's our role in this new galactic community?" "Earth will become what it was always meant to be," Zara 9 replied. "A bridge between species. A place where former enemies can meet as friends. Your world's location and your species' unique gift for communication make you the perfect center for galactic cooperation." Over the following hours, as harvester ships and resistance vessels landed in designated areas around the world, humanity got its first glimpse of their new neighbors. The harvesters, freed from the constant pressure of survival, revealed themselves to be a remarkably creative and curious species. The resistance included dozens of civilizations, each with unique technologies and perspectives to share. But the most important change was not in technology or politics. It was in understanding. For millions of years, the galaxy had been dominated by fear. Fear of the devourers, fear of the harvesters, fear of extinction. That fear had driven species to fight and flee and destroy. Humanity had offered something different. Not fearlessness, but the courage to hope. Not the absence of conflict, but the wisdom to choose cooperation over conquest. As the sun set on that historic day, Elon Musk stood on the balcony of the Neuralink facility, looking up at a sky filled with ships from across the galaxy. His enhanced brain could hear the peaceful chatter of dozens of species sharing stories, knowledge, and dreams for the future. "Dr. Tanaka," he said, "remember when I collapsed on stage? When I said, 'They're not coming to help us'? Of course, I was wrong. I got the message backwards. Through the neural static and alien translation errors, I misunderstood what they were trying to tell me." What were they really saying? Elon smiled, his consciousness still partially connected to the vast galactic network of peaceful civilizations. They weren't saying they weren't coming to help us. They were saying they were coming to help us fight. The resistance had been waiting for humanity to develop enough to join them. My collapse, my warning to the world. It was all part of bringing us into the galactic community at exactly the right moment. Dr. Tanaka looked up at the stars, where ships from hundreds of worlds were already beginning to establish permanent diplomatic stations. "So, Elon, what do we do now?" "Now we do what humans do best," he replied. "We explore, we learn, we build, and we help make sure that no species ever has to face extinction alone again." In the distance, the first joint human-alien construction project was already beginning. A massive space station that would serve as the new headquarters for galactic cooperation. It would be called New Harmony, and it would orbit Earth as a symbol of what was possible when species chose understanding over fear. The invasion that was supposed to end humanity had instead begun humanity's greatest adventure. The stars were no longer distant lights in the night sky. They were home addresses of friends humanity had yet to meet. Where are you listening from today? Drop a comment below and let us know your location. We love connecting with our global audience. If this story moved you, inspired you, or simply entertained you, please hit that like button. It really helps us reach more people who would enjoy these thought-provoking tales. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you never miss our latest stories exploring the possibilities of human potential, scientific discovery, and the power of hope in the face of impossible odds. Most importantly, share this video with your friends and family. In a world that often feels divided, stories like these remind us that our greatest strength lies in working together. By sharing, you're not just spreading entertainment, you're spreading kindness, awareness, and the belief that even the most challenging problems can be solved when we choose cooperation over conflict. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. Until next time, keep looking up at the stars. They're not just distant lights anymore. They're reminders that we're part of something much bigger and more wonderful than we ever imagined. See you in the next story.